It is the playoffs here, and we have the first quarterfinals already going live. It's Inferno that was the first map here, and Na'Vi ends up winning it 16-10, with TyLoo actually taking both the pistol rounds, doing significant damage. I think more than I thought they would have been able to do on Inferno. But in the end, it wasn't enough, and we can't be too surprised, can we? Na'Vi, they are a team that probably should be making the finals, maybe even winning this tournament.
Yeah, exactly. They're one of the favorites to take the whole thing at this point. And so, you can't really be shocked that the underdog loses. That's what happens most of the time. It's not every time you get to see the underdog, kind of like...
Not in this tournament, but most of the time you're right.
Right. Now we're in the playoffs, right? It's a totally different beast. You're on the stage. You're not in the back with the groups where it's like there's nobody watching you or anything like that. You get to sit there and play your game, and you're 2 feet away from Na'Vi. No, now you're sitting in a booth. You're on the stage in front of a huge crowd. I mean, it's a completely different scenario. But all that being said, I think that TyLoo did actually, put on a good performance here versus Na'Vi. I'm impressed with what they were able to bring to it. It's just a few clutches didn't go their way, and it seemed like it took them a bit too long to calm down on their CT side. They kept feeling like they had to make plays. Somebody in particular, trying to peek mid, trying to take these plays, right? And it just doesn't work out for them in the end, because at the end, Na'Vi, of course they're going to capitalize off of that.
I'm also just trying to think about, the future for this team and for these players, And again, if you're able to show up to a stage like this in an international tournament with I mean, at least for some of the players with limited experience, and not be afraid of playing a team like Na'Vi, that means you could potentially be a terrifying team in the future, because most teams will show, a little bit of doubt. Even top teams, I don't want to bring it up, but, look at Astralis and how they sometimes react when things start to get a bit tough. I don't think TyLoo was exhibiting many signs of sort of a breakdown. They were just outmatched by Na'Vi, which is fine, that you can handle that, but they weren't tilting, as it were. Now we're gonna go into map 2, and this is Na'Vi's map pick. A little bit scary, maybe. I think for the TyLoo team to be facing here, probably. And I mean, you win both the pistol round there on the first map. You gotta hope that you could maybe pull it through.
And that's going to be the main point, right? Is that they weren't able to capitalize on their rifle rounds. Their pistol rounds, they were able to actually completely smash Na'Vi. It looked great on Inferno, but now, I mean, you're going into Na'Vi's map pick. Na'Vi are an excellent team on Mirage. Very little that you can take advantage of on this map, especially now that Guardian is here with that AWP to dominate in mid, to be very versatile with the sniper rifle. Tough to read, and I wouldn't be surprised if Na'Vi, even picked T side at this point and said, you know what, actually, we just want to completely, control everything right off the bat. An attacker going for the information peak in Palace early on gets punished by Flamey, and this is where it all falls apart. Zeus is there to get the refrag on, or the second kill basically, onto Fancy. And the entry frags are just going to keep rolling in unless somebody can put a stop to this.
Yeah, but now we're actually rotating the bomb back into T-spawn towards the middle of the map. I mean, this may not even be necessary. Na'Vi probably could have trained on and run for the A-bomb site, but this is the difference between sort of a 98% win and a 100% win. When you walk into that B-bomb site, no one's there, because somebody's got to be wondering, what is going on? My team has all died at the A-bomb site, and I'm up here surrounded by my fallen teammates, and yet the bomb has gone down in B. That's very confusing. Trying to do the best that he can, gets a single headshot in, but Na'Vi with an overwhelmingly confident pistol round. TyLoo, I mean, you come into the second map, it'd be nice with a good start. I like that pose from StarX in the background. You see him with his hands out, just really commanding this team.
Oh, he's loving it, man. He's relaxed. No worries at all for him.
Yeah, I don't think there are many coaches, many people like that who are sort of so fully embraced the coaching role as StarX has. This is going to be such an uphill battle, but TyLoo, they do have pistol and armor.
So now, well, we saw that they are capable with the CZs. They do actually, I mean, attacker in particular. And well, speak of the devil, he takes out Guardian. DD peeks out, removes Edward from mid, and now it's attackers still going for more. They're trying to make their way out of Palace. Na'Vi trying to bring back some kills, and Zeus will find the headshot on Fancy. It's a 3-on-3, but now they actually have some guns to work with here. TyLoo, as I say that attacker, he gets caught off guard by Flamey, and Flamey somehow delivers 2 kills, brings Na'Vi right back into this. But somebody's here with the UMP, and he catches Seized with a nade in hand, does monstrous damage to him. And Na'Vi, they need to find a way to get onto this site. First kill goes somebody's way. And now it's all on Seized with 7 HP, a single flash grenade, and he's just hoping he can play the clock. He's got a minute left to throw a mind game here at TyLoo. Say, okay, am I going to be staying on A? Am I going to rotate to B? I need to get into B, get in position so that I can catch somebody off guard, because if it turns into a straight up fight, 1 bullet from this UMP will do the trick.
Mistakes were made on the Na'Vi side, and this could be a little bit tricky, but with the bomb going down, somebody, oh no, he goes back to check the A-bomb site. Now he's realizing this is not working out so well. I'm not sure if he's looking for a kit. He's picking up an AK somewhere, but he's gonna have some time, but not that much time. It does take quite a while for him to get over there. I mean, we're talking a full 18 seconds, so once he gets here, he kind of just has to run in and look wherever he can. But again, a single bullet will be enough to take care of Seized. He's looking for all the angles here, trying for a bit of a spray. He doesn't have this kind of time. He has to go much quicker than just taps the bomb once. Seized right around the corner with the Galil in hand and gonna see the shot, and there it is. Seized to finish the round. Na'Vi with a 2-0 lead here. That could have been, but I think the extra time it took to check the A-bomb site, and then all the way running back to B, even a little bit of hesitation in there, and then taking time once you got, you at that point, you might as well just run full on. Save the UMP, just go as fast as you can. Because time is what you need when you get there. Yeah, to fake it, to look for the corners, all that stuff.
Exactly, to check the spots that Natus can be playing from. And just like on Inferno, another clutch goes Na'Vi's way. Edward Flamey just wrecking house on the A side and in mid. TyLoo, 2 players in mid as well to back them up, and they're just gonna get run over. Somebody is now the last man alive, kind of hanging around, hoping to be able to get a kill back, and he will be able to get the drop on Edward. So nice kill there, actually. 5 bullets left in the CZ as well, means that he can still take the fight. He's trying to click, trying to aim, but Guardian hits a headshot first, shuts him down. So Na'Vi, very nice anti-eco coming out from them. That's going to be excellent for their economy. And they do have money to drop an AWP for Guardian if they want. Guardian can swap that AK over. What is this, Guardian? Are you just going to stay on the Mac? There's no way you stay on the Mac 10, Guardian. There we go. The AWP gets picked up. I was about to say, that would be, even for Guardian, that would be a bit much.
Mo has his on the other side, and he has actually been winning a couple of these fights against Guardian, so if he could start doing it now, and I mean, right now, that'd be the kind of beginning that they're needing. He has no armor, and that grenade is devastating to him. The Molotov follow-up, and he has to get out of there. He's got 14 health left, and he has not even seen anyone in middle yet. That's got to be terrifying, but DD picking up the first shot there, and it's going to be a quick refrag as Zeus headshots the Taka Fancy in sight. He only gets the 1 spray down, and that is not enough. DD's quick on the rotation right now, but 3-on-3 for the retake, and Edward picking up a second kill. Guardian taking out Captain Mo, and now DD, what could he do? 1-on-3. They don't quite know where he is, and he's managed to sneak his way quite far in. But the extended spray, it took too long. If he could have got that kill instantly, maybe he could have got the flick, but instead it's Edward with the triple kill in the round, and both him and Flamey at 7-1 and 7-2 respectively. It's quite a good start for those 2 players.
Yeah, it's perfect. Edward, I mean, we've seen him kind of come into that carrier role again for Na'Vi as well. Guardian only sitting on the 2 kills, but I mean, he hasn't really had too many opportunities. I mean, this is all just Na'Vi kind of disrespecting TyLoo, saying, you know what, we'll be willing to take this risk and actually go for the lurk play through the smoke, sneak out as a group, and once 2 of us get through, at that point, we shouldn't have any trouble just overrunning the site. They managed to just find Attacker, then find Fancy, and each one of those turns into like just, you know, 2 rifles facing him. So there's nothing that TyLoo players can really do given the situation that they found themselves in. Na'Vi, I mean, they're just going to roll onto the A site. Now again, right, they know that they're going to be ecoing on TyLoo's side, so they just go charging into B site, no fear at all whatsoever. And this is just Na'Vi, you know, basically doing work. And Zeus, you know, icing on top. Picks up a rifle for free, no worries there. So 5-0, and it's everything is going according to plan for Na'Vi. This is exactly what they wanted given the situation. They want to get on T-side Mirage. They want to control the pace. They're the ones who want to dictate how the beginning of this game is going to go. It's up to TyLoo, who are maybe a little rattled after Inferno, to find themselves and step up and actually start putting up a fight against Na'Vi. Full buy for TyLoo now, though, so this is it. The 6th round, full nades for TyLoo. So what can they actually achieve here?
Oh, that smoke doesn't cover everything. Then no one's trying to crush just yet. And it might be that Fancy or Mo aren't even going to try and do it at any time. But if they do try and make that cross in towards Connector, and Guardian is going to be there. And just like on Inferno, you know, he's alone here. Imagine if someone peeks that corner, he missed the shot. But it seems like that kind of thought doesn't even enter his mind. He's just so tuned into what he's doing. And it was on Inferno as well. And as we said, he's been sitting the group stage out. Now he's here at the playoffs. And he really does seem hungrier than usual to go and get these kills. Now he's back with his team. Still more than a minute left here, and they could be setting up. They've got the mid control. They know there's no one underpass. They've got all the stuff they need right now for a good B execute.
All the pieces in place. They do have a quick rotate through ladder, perhaps. But that is Attacker. He is in position to make the play. Somebody might be going for the shoulder peak, might be going for the jump peak rather onto the balcony. As DD gets that smoke down, and there we go. DD in position to actually catch them as they push through. He gets 2 kills. That's big, and now somebody below the truck, rather, is going to go pick up the first frag and the second.
Guardian right on top of him. had been all along, but somehow just hadn't found the kill yet. And this is where the Guardian gets really dangerous. You got him trapped in a corner. There's really only one way out. He goes for that peek, takes out Mo. Oh my God, now it's down to Fancy. He's coming in from a really good angle. Might be difficult for Guardian to see that this is coming, but he's currently got the double kill, looking for the last hit. I end up there, and there it is. Straight clutches the round and makes it seem like it's so easy. That is a 1-on-3 for Guardian, and he just does it without hesitating.
Just outright dominating him. And that was Mo with the angle as well, prepared. Last one is just easy for Guardian. He's already got the angle on Fancy, so everything falling into place. Another clutch goes Navi's way, and this is what's just going to completely tomb TyLoo in this match. 4 rifles picked up, forced buy from TyLoo. They realize that they have to try and stop the bleeding somehow, so it is going to be just this Hail Mary buy from them, hoping to be able to catch Navi out. Perhaps Navi might expect a quasi buy. They may not expect rifles.
What is this? Attacker just ran in behind them with a knife out. If he just turned around and looked into middle, he would have seen that they were right there. Flamey going to be going down, and now he tries for a little bit more. Edward there to follow up, and somebody picking up a kill on Seas. So not that bad of a start again, but we've already seen that's not enough. They need to do even more. Mo being given a bit of an opening there, and Zeus is going to be down. So now, again, a round that should be easy enough to follow through on. But with Edward and Guardian left, I hesitate to say that.
Yeah, right? Guardian, I mean, 1v3 last round. Now he's got a teammate to help him out as well. Minute left on this clock. And we'll see as the bomb gets rotated around, Guardian actually going to get into position, perhaps take it up at the Palace. He does have the nades. Is he going to try and create some space here for Edward to work with? Right now, they're in a correct situation. I mean, they have the correct setup here. Fancy holding back in CT to make sure that Edward can't get out of window. He just needs to be patient and trust in his call at this point.
And look at what Guardian is doing. He's setting up the smoke for Edward to go out, so he doesn't have to worry about middle. This is really, really good teamwork. Solid play coming out. Edward, if he makes the crossing on over, all he has to worry about the bomb site and not the connector here. And he is going to be able to make that cross without suffering anything. No loss of HP. Yeah, he should be going out. Smoke is still covering him, so that means he can help Guardian out onto the bomb site. Even though they are 2 men down, they're still playing this very nicely. And there's Edward opening up on one. Mo going to be going down. Guardian covering CT spawn, but DD's going to be there. Does take out Edward. The smoke just fading. And Guardian to go down. So nice idea for Navi, but TyLoo going to be picking up their first round. It's better late than never, isn't it?
And the clock plays against Guardian in the end. It was really well played for Navi. If they had an extra 10 to 15 seconds to play with, they might not have had to rush so much. But the fact that Guardian couldn't fake plant, he has to go for it. That just turns it TyLoo's way. So they are on the board now. 1 round for TyLoo. And this is just, I mean, the wind beneath their wings. This is where they get to take off, perhaps. Or does Navi just completely shatter their dreams? Because if TyLoo lose this round, they did have 3 players survive, but they really don't have much bank to work with. So if Navi wins this and puts them back on 1400, that's pretty much the end of the story here. As Navi, once again, getting that mid control, going for the split, and somebody is going to pick out the kill on Seized. But they haven't committed anywhere, Navi. They could go up short still, try and look for a punish here, or they could actually wrap through connector. So there are options. DD holding right on the other side of the smoke, goes charging through, but Edward was ready for him. It's going to be Mo to pick up 1 and 2 kills. Attacker steps out, picks up another, and Attacker with the double kill on short. Navi just walking into the blender this round. And Mo doing big work with that AWP, drawing attention to himself.
Now he will have enough money to make a buy work, which is definitely a little bit worrying for TyLoo. This kind of start, they just need to continue at this point. They just need to keep going. They've got the double up set up, and they've got 2 rounds on the board, and a little bit of a bank except for Attacker. The rest will have money for it. And Mo, again, not afraid to take this fight in middle. Not at all.
More of that from Mo, please, right? On Inferno, we saw him challenging in mid repeatedly, looking for those kills at the AWP. He's not afraid of Guardian and of taking these duels with him. And that's exactly the kind of play that you need from TyLoo at this point. They need to be confident. They need to be willing to play their game, not try and play for Navi. Although C is getting that lurk in, and Guardian catches Mo trying to change position. Perfect 2 kills coming in for Navi, just catching TyLoo off guard. And now Attacker, he's going to get sandwiched in from connector. Spots out the first man, goes for the big spray on Seized. He will get the kill eventually, but then the rest of Navi, they come right around the corner, and he runs out of bullets. He nearly had Flamey there. Instead is DD with the AWP, hoping to get something done from short. But with 3 players alive for Navi, they have the bomb, they have the site control. It's a long shot here for DD. He's got to pull a Guardian right now, 1v3.
Yeah, and with 20 health and an AWP, that I don't even see any reason to go for it here. Again, just because Attacker doesn't have money, but the rest will have, it's worth it to just run away. I mean, I say the rest will have, even DD and Fancy won't have that much, so they gotta be a bit worried here. I don't think they could necessarily even afford to save though, so I think they need to fight Na'Vi straight away here. But this is, I see what, I mean, that's not necessarily a bad attempt. He must have known they were gonna come look for him. Now that makes the force up a little bit more tricky, but they're gonna go for it either way here. 7-2 being the scoreline in favor of Na'Vi on the terror side of Mirage. And this is much worse than it was on Inferno. I am getting some flashbacks though, because what keeps happening here is they lose 1 or 2 people, then Attacker shows up, and I mean, this time he almost got a double kill, but it kept happening on Inferno as well. It's like Attacker gets put into play once the round is sort of almost lost, you know. What would happen if Attacker was the guy to actually get the first kills instead?
Exactly. And well, this time he gets spotted as well, so the element of surprise is gone for him. C's going to take advantage of that, finds DD. And that was on short. So once again, C's getting up into connector. He's so effective, although Fancy is there to shut him down this time around. C's getting a little ahead of himself, trying to push through that smoke. He still gets work done for his team, and that incendiary nearly takes out Attacker. He's down to 27 HP. They're just spread out all over the place right now, but Mo has that AWP. He's got a line on Zeus as well in the connector. Does he even know that he's there? It seems like he's got an inkling. He senses that something's not right. But the rest of Na'Vi, in the meantime, I mean, this is fine for Zeus. Zeus does not need to peek because he knows that the rest of his team are working their way through apartments. So he's looking to catch somebody out of position later on, but somebody catches out Zeus. Nice play for information there from somebody looking into mid. And now it's down to the 3 players here for Na'Vi to make their way out onto the B site. Attacker on short is going to be the first line of defense, along with the men rotating in through kitchen.
Well, the rotation is happening. Mo is quite far away, but there's no bomb plan yet. It should be happening soon. Flamey getting that kill and equalizing it into a 3-on-3. And Guardian towering up from the balcony and waiting for someone to peek into short here. He's covering so much of the entrance. Doesn't quite get that shot through, re-peeks it again. Mo's out there if he could win this first fight, but it's just not happening. Nobody's hitting each other. It's gonna have to be Flamey doing a bit of work. There's Mo picking up the kill, but now it's a 2-1-2. It should have happened much sooner. Fancy gonna be going down, and Mo, what could he do at this point? All they have to do is wait. If they don't show themselves, then he can't get the entry. He's gonna pick up 1 kill and has to run away. There's simply no time for this to work out.
I'm blown away that they keep peeking him that way. Like, yeah. Flamey stepping out in there. I mean, granted, Mo, he's so far away. There's so little time for him to make the play, to get in there and get the defuse, sure. But yeah, Flamey, he's just like, all right, I'll peek into an op that I know is holding this angle. That works fine. A little surprising to see Guardian missing so many shots versus Mo, though. Again,
well, both of them were just straight missing. Man, it's down to a 1-on-1, but it will be Na'Vi winning the round. And TyLoo, how do you get back from this? I just simply don't know. They've saved the AWP, which is good fun. And Na'Vi looking for a very standard, very normal A execute here. And why not? They could guess that TyLoo won't be having money, even if they run into the AWP. Should be able to trade it pretty well. But they've chosen the exact right bomb site.
Yeah, Na'Vi is just perfect call. Go for the smoke execute. If they got the rifles, it's going to be tough for him. Full nade damage going on to the Attacker there. Only 20 HP left on him without that Kevlar. It's just rough. Shrapnel, it hurts. Well, he will get the headshot there. Nice shot from him with the USB, but then Mo gets caught out with that AWP, so he won't even be able to save that for the next round. Zeus watching his teammates back. Edward doesn't even have to look up. Maybe he's like a dog. Can he look up? You know, can dogs look up, Anders?
Mine can't.
Isn't that like a myth, right? You know, it's like dogs can't look up. All right, jumping shot from Zeus, just the icing on the top.
Why not? I mean, mine is a pug, so she has trouble either way, you know.
But she's so adorable, right? So it makes up for it, right? You know, like she's a little physically impaired, but then she's so cute.
Exactly, that's what we're going for. 9-2 being the scoreline here, and things are just getting worse and worse. This is the rolling that I was scared about on Inferno, which I don't think happened. I think TyLoo put up a really good fight on that map, but this is a little bit different. Guardian, he's set up for it. You got to be careful if you want to make that jump, but Flamey over at the other side of the map just absolutely wrecking that A-bomb site. Seized, gonna win the fight in the middle against Mo. And see, this is where this is the breakdown that I don't think happened necessarily on Inferno, but it seems to be happening right now for TyLoo, where there is just no coordination, no chance for a refrag, nobody seems to be playing with each other, and Na'Vi are just taking all the fights right here. So this is sort of team meltdown that can definitely happen at any level, but it seems to have sort of hit TyLoo now, and that's obviously not the right time for it, you know. This is where you'd want to be doubling down and sort of showing what you have right at the end here.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And it's a lack of experience that's showing, basically. I mean, granted, they are going up against the top 3 team in the world as the massive underdog, basically the last seed in this tournament, TyLoo.
Yeah.
So the fact that they've made it onto this stage, an achievement in itself, but now we're seeing, you know, this massive gap in skill, basically, between both of these teams.
Well, I mean, you know, it's just hard for any human being to try and sort of, you know, you lose one map, but then you start off this way, you know. It was looking like it was going to be so good, but then you just get crushed, and eventually you can't keep telling yourself and your teammates that it's going to be all right, that you'll find a way back into it. Those words are going to ring out so hollow after a while. You also notice they haven't taken a tactical timeout here in spite of the fact that it's already like way overdue. No real point in taking a tactical. I mean, they might do it, but no point in doing it in the 14th or 15th round. I think that alone is a sign that they mentally feel like this is gone, you know.
A bit too far.
Yeah.
Even though in this game, I mean, that's the thing, man. CS, it's just, you're never over. It's never over as long as you got rounds on the board. Fnatic, Nip, I mean, they've all done it in the past. Granted, Nip was a long time ago, but I mean, 11-2. Double AWP is going to be the call here, however, for TyLoo, now that they have the money on the board. Fancy, he's got one op. And Mo's taking up position in connector, looking up to top mid. There's going to be a man waiting for him, though, and he's going to get caught out by Edward in the end, just not able to react in time. DD holding close, is about to get dropped on. Big shots coming out from him, though. He takes out Flamey, but then, of course, Na'Vi's so good with the refrag. Zeus is there to trade the kill. And now Na'Vi, they have control of the A site. Bomb, as usual, is all the way back in T-spawn. So this just means that Na'Vi, they can go out and hunt for kills if they want, but eventually they're going to have to send somebody back there to pick up that bomb and get this bomb plant down.
And again, you gotta wonder, as Guardian takes out Fancy, somebody is left alone. Actually making a lot of noise here. Might be running right into Seized. Is he gonna check this corner? Oh, almost, but not. Oh, he stabs him, Seized! You heartless creature. That's gonna be Na'Vi up to 12-2. That is just pure humiliation. But, Semler, riddle me this. When Mo is in the middle, looking into underpass, right? Who's there to back him up? Nobody. There's not a single person nearby. DD's in the ninja corner over at A. Who's that? There's nobody there. No one can refrag. No one can back them up. There's no plan for TyLoo in that defense. The plan is, let's hope one of these guys gets a triple kill.
I mean, it's something that we see Guardian do every now and again on his CT side. But I mean, Guardian is like in and out, like very quick with it. You know, Mo's obviously trying to force it. He's feeling the pressure. He feels like he has to make the play, and so he sticks around. There's the difference. And Guardian shows up on short, takes out somebody from the balcony. So it's an open line now onto this B site as Flamey will hit the shot with the AWP onto DD. So back into a 3-on-3 now for Na'Vi. Fancy gives away his position, and now Flamey can hunt him down with this AWP if he wants. Just chilling. It's going to turn into the waiting game as the rotation comes in, because Guardian, he's already moved up short, so he can actually look for the flank onto Fancy. And that's exactly what he's doing at this point.
Look at this.
Yeah.
It's like a game of chess. It's like the two towers with the AWPs just sort of, they're just circling him in right now. He actually had nowhere to move. I think now we were just playing a bit of chess there with TyLoo. That's incredible. Mo is going to be going down. Edward with that final frag and a 13-2 scoreline. Na'Vi sending a message to the world saying this is definitely going to be another semi-final for us, and probably maybe even more than that.
Thinking they're looking a little amused right now, TyLoo. Like, yep. Right. So now we get to go on the T side.
They might be thinking, we were wondering when this was going to happen in the tournament, you know? So they said they showed up hoping they could get out of the group stage. Not only did they do that, but they defeated Team Liquid, they defeated Luminosity to do it. Major championship winners, which is in itself is a completely mind-blowing. And we said, and I think it's true, has to be a top 3 upset of all time on LAN. So to do that itself, you know, everything else has to be just sort of a, you know, cherry on top from that point out, just keep going. But they even, I think, showed a lot on Inferno. I think it's quite a cool game. Real shame they couldn't pull it through. On this map, though, Na'Vi, they are some of the best, if not maybe the best team in the world at playing Inferno, or sorry, Mirage, so what could you do?
Yeah, exactly, especially if you don't win the pistol round. I think that's the big thing, you know, it's just you don't win the pistol, and Mirage is ruthless in that way, because similar to Inferno, you really need to have like all of your gear on the CT side to get those lockdowns into effect. You need that AWP for Mo, and you need him to have all the nades to back him up. And the fact that they don't win that pistol, they don't get that strong start, and well, this is what's possible. Na'Vi start the second half with 13 rounds on their CT side already. TyLoo with 2. TyLoo, they are going for a bit of a mix play. They go for the raid boss on DD, so he's got the Tech 9 and Kevlar. But then the rest have nades and some Kevlar on somebody and attacker, so we have to see where they decide to go through here. So it does look like right now, at least, they're waiting to see if there's going to be any aggression out of Na'Vi. Na'Vi sometimes do go for the push up to top mid just to see if they can catch somebody out. So TyLoo, they have 2 players there ready and waiting, and that's DD with the Tech 9, so it'd be a rude surprise, but Na'Vi are content to sit and wait at this point.
2 smoke grenades on TyLoo. Probably one of them is going to be put up to get out onto the balcony where Seized is holding, just to move him. The next one could be in window, or it could be down towards catwalk. It depends a bit on how far they want to go. They've used one of them there, goes up immediately. Seized can't really do much here. Edward, get a clear shot still, and Seized, have they checked this smoke yet? And they might not have. No one's died. Guardian's low on health. Seized comes barreling out. He gets
oh my god.
What? He actually hits that shot on attacker. He just blindly turns around. Seems almost unfair. DD trying to see if he can make up for it here. 3 on 3 as there's a kill coming through from Mo, but the bomb has only just gone down. They need more time, TyLoo. Time they may not have. Mo picking up another shot. Zeus and Edward are going to be left here. Still a 1-on-2. Somebody, he hasn't heard anyone trying to defuse the bomb yet. They're going to go and peek him at the same time. He is very low on health, but so are they. And he's got the Glock close range. He's going to end up going down. Zeus with the frag. Triple kill for him. And Na'Vi making it to 14-2. But a shot from Seized. Look at that smile.
Look at him. He's just like, hey, man. Hey,
Look at that smile.
I just wrecked their dreams. That's what you kind of just have to throw your hands up in the air and say, well, what can you hope to do? This is just ridiculous. Turns around, 2 clicks. Takes a bullet to the face, but he takes attacker with him, and attacker as well. One of the key players for TyLoo, so attacker not able to be in there, not able to put up a fight versus the retake. And while Na'Vi now, they have the rifles, they have everything that they need to completely annihilate TyLoo in this second map and get into that semifinals. It just seems like fated. It's meant to be for Na'Vi at this point. They're heartless, they're ruthless. They've got not a shred of mercy.
Yeah, they were even knifing in the first half just to send a message, you know. But this time it's going the other way. TyLoo opening up strong, and well, another kill happening for Mo. They definitely know how to play this game.
There we go.
3rd kill for him in the round. 3 and 14. That's going to reset Na'Vi's economy quite a bit now. So no, this is the worst part for any caster, because now we have to sort of bite our time and wait and see how long they could push it back. I mean, even if they brought it back to 14-12, we would still have our doubts and our reservations about whether or not they could realistically actually do it. Obviously, we're giving them the benefit of the doubt here, but this would be a historic comeback.
This is really interesting. Edward, he's going to be able to peek out underpass. Not sure if they realize that he's here, though, but he will get the peek onto Fancy. First kill for Edward. But attackers there shut him down with that AK. And now the defense consolidating. Although there is a push coming in, that Zeus working his way back into T-spawn. He might be able to spot out somebody, but somebody is waiting for it. He's ready and waiting. It's a hard shot for Zeus to hit, and somebody with the AK. That range advantage going to put it to use. So good work there. As far as being thorough for TyLoo, making sure that they're covering their flanks, they're taking their time, they're making good use of the clock. They aren't feeling like they have to rush things and try and group up together. Instead, the setup works for TyLoo in the end. It accomplishes what they want it to. Well, Guardian, he's got the dig, so I mean, he's pretty good at wrecking plans. So we'll see if he can find a kill, but Mo just lurks right on top of him.
Yeah, flaming the bomb site with the scout. I mean, it's definitely a good enough weapon to use from the CT spawn here, but oh, yeah, it's just shot on DD. Not the best start necessarily for the Chinese, but it'll be Mo to follow it up here, and Seized. He does pick up 1 kill, still a 1-on-2 left. I don't see an easy way for him to break into this round. Close range is good enough, but Mo picking up another triple kill and currently pushing himself up to 14 kills. 13 on somebody, and then On the other team, it's Flamey and Edward topping the board, but nobody from Na'Vi is really lacking on the scoreboard here. They're all doing very well.
Yeah, and Guardian doesn't exactly look very concerned either. He's kind of just like grinning to himself. How many frags do I have? How much money do I have? Okay, I'll be able to buy the op next round, no problem. Then the show comes to an end, perhaps, for TyLoo. Na'Vi, interesting decision from them, going for the gamble, just full stack on this B site. It's the correct call as well, because TyLoo are going for the rush, so we'll see if it actually works. Superiority and firepower, though, that will make the difference. Mac-10 will run out of ammo eventually, and Edward just wrecking house. 2 kills for him up on the box. So the element of surprise working out, but in the end, TyLoo, they just have too many bodies and too many guns. They managed to extinguish that fire, and it's a 5th round basically picked up here for TyLoo. 14 for Na'Vi still, and now Na'Vi, they have the money for AWP.
Only 1 HE grenade picked up in the last round for Na'Vi.
Yeah.
Sort of desperately wish they would have gone for like a quad stack of nades. That would have been hilarious, but
Ridiculous.
Doesn't quite happen this time. 14-5 as we go into the 20th round of the second half here. Second map as well. DreamHack Masters, it's the first quarterfinals of the day. We have another 3 after this one. It'll be a very long day of Counter-Strike, and it will be well worth it to stick around. Some fantastic games are coming up. Going to be a bit of a counter grenade coming out into the apartments. Somebody opening up with a frag on Flamey. That's a good start. Zeus and Sandwich, he's only able to trade the 1 kill. Can't get the rest in. Bomb being planted right in front of Guardian. He shoots right on top of his head. He can't actually get the angle here, but it doesn't matter. DD's going to go down to Edward. The bomb has been planted. A grenade to dunk attacker. Fancy the only one with any real health left here, and the bomb is out in the open, and somebody's making a long rotation around. Can Fancy even buy enough time? They're in the smoke. Sees this on it right now, and defusing inside. Can they stop him? They need to get... He doesn't have a kit. He's doing the full defuse inside the smoke. Somebody spraying through. He gets the shot on Seized, and now it's a 1-on-2. He tries to jump down. He actually loses 1 health in doing so, but he goes down. Flamey gonna find that shot, and it will, I think, be just enough time for the defuse here. Na'Vi gonna make it to match and map point here.
And for a second there, I thought that TyLoo, they'd be able to use the European trick and make it work on Mirage. The long rotate through T-spawn, you have to have faith in your teammates that they're going to be able to keep those CT players off that bomb long enough for you to get into position. And he actually manages to pull it off and make it close. Still, the man advantage for Na'Vi made all the difference in the end as well. Having that extra man just allows for the defuse to follow through. And then Na'Vi, now they get to power forward, although TyLoo, they do have a very respectable buy coming into this round. And a nice deep nade onto mid is actually going to catch out Flamey. So a lot of damage taken by him to start things off here, but looks like TyLoo, they're willing to change it up. They went for an A stack, or well, an A smoke executed in the last round. Now it seems like they just want to go crashing into B, but the incendiary is going to mess them up, and the HE follow-up as well, doing a little bit of damage.
Man, if Mo hadn't unscoped then I think that would have been the end of Seized. Making the jump down here. Goes for it again, and the 3rd time, it's just a little bit too much.
Especially because he's jumping straight up and down, right?
Yeah.
So that's just such an easy shot to hit for any opera out there, even though TyLoo only, I mean, you know, Mo only lives with like 6 HP.
Well, it's because Seized had the scout on the other side, right? So he wanted to get the kill himself and trying to make that work. A little bit more tricky for you if you're strafe jumping. We'll see. Double peek into apartments as a response to losing a player. It's not too bad of a choice for Na'Vi. Just, you know, make up for the lack of manpower by having a bit more information about what the terrorist side is doing. And definitely makes strategical sense. Zeus is left up there while Edward's still in shadow waiting. If he keeps going, he's going to be able to see that there's, well, by the time he gets there, probably nobody in T-spawn, so should be able to put Edward on a rotation. TyLoo are making their way towards that B-bomb site. Guardian already here with the AWP, and that might just very well be bad news. There's only 20 seconds here. They really can't afford to lose time to finding him. Grenades raining in. He lines them up and gets the first shot through, looking for a bit more. That's the bomb down on attacker Guardian. He has no mercy at all. He gets that flick. Oh my god. Takes down DD. And now it's a 2 versus 3. They got 5 seconds, 4 seconds. They can't get the bomb down. Here it goes. Guardian knocking TyLoo out with an ace at the end. What a way to finish. 16-5. The monster is back.
I don't even know what to say to that. That just sums it up so nicely. Ace to finish the round, ace to finish the map, ace to finish the series, and it's on Guardian to boot. You guys can see he's got that tape on his arm, so you can wonder, you know, should he be playing right now? Is the injury still hanging in there? But he says that he feels good, and clearly he looked good in that series.
Is it tape, or have they surgically planted like a cybernetic hand on him?
Need to like wand his hand now just to see if there's anything under the tape. Is that what you're saying?
Is he still fully human, or is this actually something else?
It's the beginning.
What a ridiculous way to end the match. Single-handedly taking out TyLoo. You gotta give a massive amount of respect to the Chinese team, though. Defeating the former major championship winners on LAN and making their way to the playoffs of a tournament this big. Absolutely incredible performance for them. And Inferno was an interesting game. This is where Na'Vi's sort of shown exactly what they've come to Sweden for.
Exactly, and that's to win. But it looks like we have an interview ready on the main stage. It's with the madman himself. Smix, it's all on you.
Thank you very much, Semler. Guardian, you said you were feeling in good form, but by the end there, you're just bragging with that ace.
Well, it felt good. Like, this wasn't my first hour since CS, since MLG, so it felt super good, and I'm happy. I'm confident again.
Wait, so you're saying that you have not practiced at all before? This was your first time?
Yeah.
Okay, then, fair enough. That is Guardian for you guys. Jesus Christ. Now, let's talk about both of those maps. You guys just felt so confident throughout both maps. Even on the first map, on Inferno, when TyLoo won both pistols, it felt like you guys were controlling the pace of the game the whole time.
Well, first map was quite, I would say, close, because we won some key rounds. And I have to say they are playing very, very good. And they won 2 pistol rounds, so that's a lot in a game. So I was quite surprised how did we do in the first map, but respect to them. It's a very good showing, and hopefully they will improve much more.
All right, yeah, definitely commiserations to TyLoo. But speaking of Na'Vi in general, back in the day, there was a time period where everyone said, Guardian is carrying Na'Vi, but it seems that now that is not the case anymore. Even when you're not at the top of the scoreboard, you have your teammates that are stepping up. So overall, I have to imagine that gives you a lot of confidence moving forward in this tournament.
Yeah, I would say so. Before we were like, more about me, yeah, that was true, but now everybody's putting a lot of hours and effort to the game, so it seems different, and we are not arguing with each other. If someone dies, then he dies, and we try to win the round. But yeah, before we were arguing a lot, and now we are not, so that's the change for us.
All right, now you are down to the semifinals. Moving forward, you may play either Godsent or you'll be playing Dignitas. Is that correct?
No, I think Dignitas Envious.
That's correct, Dignitas Envious. Now, with that matchup, is there a team that you're preferring to play? I know that, especially with Dignitas, you guys have been undefeated against them this whole year.
Well, Dignitas is pretty hard opponent to play, I would say, because it's some kind of team that you cannot expect something, and they're playing pretty good. And Envious it's a comfortable opponent for us, so well, I would like to play Envious again.
Ooh, you think that'll be a better series?
Yeah.
All right then. Well, Na'Vi, congratulations again, first of all. An impressive performance from you, especially considering you just recovered from your wrist injury. So congratulations again. They will be moving on to the semifinals, and unfortunately for TyLoo, their fairy tale story ends here.
Indeed it does. Thanks very much, Smix. And Guardian, his first game of CS off the back of the major, turns up in a big way. Little cherry on top with the ace, and that, my friends, is Na'Vi picking it up. Of course, the test did see that going that way, but we did see some signs of life from TyLoo. Inferno is what we're going to start to address first of all, of course, and I think we can safely say that there's a lot of signs of life and a lot of good, positive vibes from TyLoo in the future.
In as much as, they won pistol rounds, that certainly helped them. They could get entries, they could get into sites, they could get bombs planted. Problem is, as much as that's a positive sign, it then highlighted all the negatives, which is they can't close rounds, they've just got beaten down by Na'Vi, they had a lot of difficulty containing that Na'Vi T side, so a bit of both. There was some positives, but there was also some glaring deficiencies which Na'Vi exposed.
Those are the things that you can't really prepare for coming into an event, though. Those situationals, how different they're going to be, like how you're going to communicate and how you have to react to your opponents. I mean, you could see coming into this, they could start rounds out very, very well. They struggle to close them. And that's where things never quite go the way that you can prepare them in a demo or in a VOD. You can't always determine exactly what's going to be happening. But yeah, the pistol round plan, that first pistol round on Inferno was beautiful. They baited Na'Vi right into that B hit, and it worked out just perfectly for him. But things like that throughout the Inferno match made them look good early on. But just, coming down to the stretch, that's things they're going to have to learn just by experience.
And I think we can all get hung up on Mirage as well. It does feel like, you know, Inferno and Mirage were two very different experiences for TyLoo. A lot of us kind of believing Inferno could have actually been competitive. Mirage was a different story.
Definitely, and as I said in the pre-game segment, that for TyLoo to make another upset, it always has to be a combination of them playing really well and Navi underperforming. Neither of those things happen, and you could just see why Navi is one of the best teams in the world. They're really good at what they do, at their style of play, and also when it comes actually to those clutch rounds, after play situations, and so on. You know, there were a number of rounds, especially on Inferno, where you could say, oh, TyLoo's coming back, they're going to win the round, and just nope. Either Flamey gets a couple of crazy kills or seized and so on, and it just is. It was pretty hard to watch.
And now Zeus, Navi in general, because I was about to talk about tactics, which is why Zeus is in my mind, but in generally, Navi have always been never been criticized, never been hailed as, the strong individuals. That's always been something that's been given to other teams. It's been more of their team play and stuff, but more and more recently, we've been seeing from Navi that these individuals are really delivering. Seized especially, we always talk about Flamey and Guardian, but everybody, even Edward, who has been incredibly quiet, has been kind of firing on all cylinders. Is this a new look Navi, or is this just them kind of finally looking a bit more individually talented?
I think over the last few months, we just have seen them get more comfortable in that sense. It's no longer the case that you're just hoping Guardian goes for the big game and then maybe you can win now. And the key thing is, people like Edward, people like C's, they always used to win like 1v1 situations. It's that they never used to have the big fragging performance. And I don't know whether it's in sync with Guardian's issues, but we've seen as he's had his problems with his wrist injury, that's when other people have been having the big game. They've understood, like, okay, you can't just rely on this guy to carry you the whole game.
Yeah, and we're going to be delving deeper into that one after. Parla has a little chat with Starix. We want to know how he's feeling after seeing his boys succeed in such a big way.
Thank you so much, Alex, for that, and the guys on the desk. Sue went into some details on stage, great interview, and we're going to try to go into those details a bit more, and I'm here with Starix. Initial thoughts after that matchup?
It was really hard match against them, especially on Inferno.
Yeah, talking about that, something that Moses mentioned on the desk was the first pistol round. It did seem that TyLoo kind of anti-strategy, you guys. They stacked B site, and was that a bit of a surprise?
Yeah, it surprised us a lot, especially on pistol rounds.
Something that was another little surprise in the match. I'm not sure if maybe you did see it because you are the coach. There was a jumping AK shot onto one of the dark spots on Inferno. That must have been very frustrating.
Yeah, it was a really... Dennis says like, oh, it was a boost.
No, it was a jump, yeah.
Yeah, but it was a jump.
Yeah. In the end, however, you did come out on top 16-10. Did you guys predict a scoreline like that, or did you think it could have been easier or even harder?
We thought it's our strongest map, Inferno, so we know it, but it will be really hard for us.
Yeah. On the other hand, Mirage was a lot more dominant for you guys. Your map pick, you must have felt very comfortable going into that?
Yeah, it's our best map, I think so.
Talking a bit about the details, I mean, because you were playing earlier in this tournament, and then the man himself, it was announced that he was going to be playing Guardian and stepping back into the shoes. He's got the wrist injury at the moment. Can you kind of maybe squash some of the rumors about that? What exactly is going on with his wrist?
Well, I don't want to talk about it. If you want to ask a Guardian.
Yeah, no, for sure. 100% understand. And so, but going back to, you know, the way that you started off this tournament, was it nice to get back into the hot seat and play?
Yeah, it's really nice. I didn't play like 1 year, but I have a chance to play 2 games at least, so it's really good for me.
And you managed to do really, really well. And so it goes to show your coaching is keeping your mind very sharp with regards to the game. Did you feel your aim was on point?
Yeah, my aim was perfect.
All right, wicked. And so, again, I know Sue went into some of these details about the teams that you guys are going up, potentially going up against next, Dig or Envy. Would you, as the coach, give some of your input into that? Who would you prefer to play first off?
I think Envy. We prefer to play against Envy, I think.
That's what Guardian said, but who do you expect to play? Do you think there's a chance that Dig could win and you might end up playing them?
I think Dig just will win.
All right, well, there we go. Well, thank you so much, Starix, for your time, and congratulations on that victory. And we are going to head back to Alex and the guys on the desk.
Thanks very much, Parla. I think the discussion now surrounds the victors of that one. Na'Vi, they have to be, after seeing the form that, yes, some individuals, but also themselves are in, can I start the discussion of favorites for the tournament? Navi, they've proved themselves, right?
I mean, as soon as I heard Guardian was coming back, I was like, I saw enough in the group stage where they may be able to cope without him that they really can win this tournament, especially because we've had some favorites eliminated already. So, I mean, this game here was to me less about TyLoo, and it was more like, that's Navi. Like this is what happens when one of the best teams in the world just rolls over you. And yeah, you almost made it competitive on like basically the worst map that's left in the pool, and then they smashed you on their best map. So it's going to be very hard for anyone to play. And it looked in the game as well like, okay, actually Guardian was missing some shots on Inferno the first half, but by the end of the game, who knows if it's because he hasn't been playing, okay, this is his first map for the tournament. By the end of Mirage, he was rolling. Obviously, he ended the whole game by just like completely styling on him.
Yeah, that flick shot in that ace was sick. That's kind of like what makes you like, oh no, he's here.
Oh dear.
Every other team's just like, oh god, hate to see it. Hate to see it.
Please no.
I mean, you got no Astralis, no Luminosity. They're going up against Envy potentially in the semifinals. That's his bet. He said he wants to meet Envy over Dignitas, and then all of a sudden they're in the grand finals with potentially a rather kind of.
I don't think it quite matters. I think they have a pretty good road to the finals. I think it's going to be NIP or VP that's going to have to beat them in the finals if they want to take that away from Navi. It does look like they're just going to steamroll their way to the finals.
Now, Janko, you've got some individual plays you were going to break down for us, so I'll let you do your power walk again.
Yep.
Show off your nice new suit, looks good. And we're going to learn a bit more about the game.
One. You got that yesterday. It's beautiful.
So we're going to show a replay from Mirage. Actually, it was the first gun round after Navi won pistol, so it's obviously a pretty important round. So if we can switch to the mini-map, right? So what they did, this is also an example of why when we talk on the desk, say that maybe for mixed teams, teams like FaZe perhaps, a Mirage is a pretty simple map where you can don't necessarily need complicated strats to make something work on the T side. So this is still pretty early on in the round, and you can see Seized is alone on mid. 3 players are towards A ramp, and Zeus is towards A apps. And the CTs are in a pretty standard setup here with 1 player holding B, 1 player towards cat, 1 in window, 1 towards connector and stairs, and 1 on the A bomb side. So what Navi does here basically is they throw this smoke early on from T-spawn. One of the players threw it for Seized. And Seized is alone here basically faking mid control by himself, like they have more people there. So what that does in turn is it forces attacker to move towards connector, forces everyone to focus towards mid, and what Navi does when they are aware of that is then they just go out of ramp, and Zeus goes out of A apps to get the trade kill on the one guy that's remaining in the bomb site itself. So now you can see how the round plays itself out. Even though Seized dies here, still that's a sign. You can see how Navi immediately reacts once Seized dies. They go out. Attacker even was just maybe a fraction of a second too late to that stair spot. Zeus was already waiting for him, and Navi just cleans the round up after that point and wins the first gun round. So it's a good example of how something simple, just knowing how the cities like to play, what are the default setups, how you can exploit that without really doing anything too fancy.
There you go. Doesn't have to be fancy CS to be good CS. That's what we're definitely learning with Janko. And
needed to be for TyLoo though, because actually in Mirage, Fancy was particularly weak, and obviously he's someone where you'd expect if you're the star player and you're on CT side of that map, you should be able to get rolling, should be able to get your team in the game. But he's someone who was a bit deficient, I think, overall.
What was quite refreshing for me was Mo. I wanted to throw that name in there because we highlighted him beforehand that he had to do something, and actually there was a lot of situations he got that close clutch where it was like 2v5, got it down to 2v2. Good signs of life from the other individuals.
Well, it is pretty interesting that TyLoo, to me, I mean, we came into this tournament with Fancy just being able to beast everyone over in the Asian scene, and he was coming in and we had a lot of hype surrounding him. How's he going to do it? It was actually somebody, an attacker, that I think are the most impressive 2 players on this team. Just the decision-making, I think their skills, I think they were a pretty good package to kind of get discovered here at this event.
Yeah, I mean, there's Fancy's underperformance right there. Proof is in the pudding, sitting at 19 frags. And then look at the rest of Navi all sitting 30 plus. Is that an English expression?
I just love that expression. Sorry.
Well, desserts aside, gents, look, what are you seeing from the stats?
I mean, you look at the stats, but stats are really meaningless in this game, except for maybe you see Fancy skills and see that he's at the bottom of the scoreboard for his team. And we were pointing out that in order for TyLoo to have a chance, the star players really need to show up and perform. But they were beaten and definitely outplayed as a team. When you add, those tactical rounds that we talked about, and on top of that, when you have also individual players on Navi stepping up, like the Guardian Ace round, like the crazy 1v3 round he got as well, that's just the strength of that team, having great fundamentals and also individual star players who can step up at any point.
This actually reminded me, this run of TyLoo, of the old Luminosity, not the current lineup, the one they had before they got FNX and Taco, because that lineup, it could upset you. And if you're on the right map, they could beat you. But when they beat you, it would be like a close game and they would narrowly edge you. And then the times they didn't beat you, because at the time they lacked a little bit of firepower or some experience, they would just get beaten down. And so that's what you saw here from TyLoo. When things weren't going their way, they even looked like they mentally broke, you know.
So with this being our last opportunity to kind of discuss TyLoo in depth, let's take a bit more of a distant approach, right? This has just been similar. Let's kind of follow the Luminosity trail of thought. We've seen the Brazilians turn up and they've all of a sudden become major champions, right? The timeline is quite short from them arriving in the scene, making a big splash, and now they're defending major champions. We've just seen China arrive, excuse me, get to the quarterfinals of an event that no one expected them to do so. What do we need to do to see this Asian scene grow? There's evidently talent there. There's evidently fans there as well. We've seen the viewer numbers as well. Sure, what can we do to nurse this and see perhaps another storyline like Luminosity's occur over in Asia?
I mean, obviously they need more opportunities like these to compete with other teams and play in big events and so on. I would disagree a bit. I think that Luminosity has been there in different lineups for quite a long time, ever since they showed up at Katowice, the first tournament. So it has been a long road for them getting experience and moving to NA and so forth. So for TyLoo, this is a great first step. What I was impressed by in this game as well was that they changed, for an example, how a couple of their setups on the CT side on Inferno, they were going for that deep banana smoke, trying to get banana control, which was something we were pointing out on the desk that they didn't do against Luminosity, and we thought that Luminosity would exploit it better. So they've shown a great ability to adapt, and honestly, it's not talking about this match in particular. You can't really, I at least can't really say that TyLoo was making some huge mistakes in how they approached the game or in their game plan and so on. It was just Navi beating them and playing extremely well.
More to be seen from Asian CS?
Yeah, well, I mean, you also have to remember, this was a team, I mean, this is where you'd hope the minor system that we have for the majors starts helping them get towards the major, get into bigger events, see them on the bigger stage. This was a team that got disqualified from the last Asian minor. I mean, they might very well. This was a team that everyone was scared of going into IEM Taipei back in January. And because they were disqualified, this is a team that very well could have been at the major. So moving forward, I mean, that's the thing. You want to see them in the bigger events. You want to see them in the next minor system, which I'm sure they will be. Want to see them at the major. Maybe they have some events that they're going to get invited to that they can actually boot camp in Europe for like a week beforehand. Just things like that. See if we can get them out to more events.
I like that idea. Duncan, the whole idea of Luminosity moving to NA, TyLoo perhaps going for some EU experience. Do you think that could help them out?
I mean, that is actually the classical approach that teams from the other regions used to take. So actually, the Brazilians of old in 1.6 used to come for like a week, go to Sweden, go to Inferno Online, boot camp all the European teams. The Koreans used to actually do this. The We Made Fox, Eastro teams. So I think it would be an obvious next step, especially now that infrastructure is growing and there's more prize money. You can justify it as well. It's not like some of those teams had very good backing, or they had like an investor who would do it. Nowadays in esports, I mean, with the amount of money you can win in these tournaments, it's probably worth, in terms of the TyLoo organization, just putting that in there and kind of building it up and see what can happen.
I mean, and there's their belief in this team, is there belief in these individuals that could become something positive, or are we just kind of, is this a bit of a flash in the pan? We won't be seeing much more from TyLoo.
I mean, it's like the Luminosity example. You have to remember, before Luminosity became a world beater team, they went to 3 majors and made it to the round of 8, and that was it. It was like the story's over there. So they gradually kind of were figuring out, okay, which players actually can stick in this? Like maybe this guy was good in Brazil or online, but who's actually going to be here for the long run? Then they made the right moves. Admittedly, they had a bit of luck. Some of the moves they made turned out better than they expected, but I think that's also the approach for TyLoo. Like, keep doing more events, and as you do it, you'll figure out maybe, okay, just as an example, maybe Fantasy 1 turns out to be someone who has too much pressure on stage, Maybe you have to go a different route there, whereas online it was looking great, you were wrecking everyone. So yeah, I think it's a process of figuring it out as you go. You can never really know hard, like this team will fail forever, or this team is destined for success. Sure. It's usually a longer trek than that, I think.
And also, if you notice, like the case with Luminosity was, all of these teams from different regions, where they do break out, it's with their own type of a meta game, right? They do some different things. They have different styles in their game that the European or the Western players are not used to.
I mean, even Renegades, right? When they were Vox Seminole and they came to that 1G Finity, and then everyone's like, wow, they could be next. And then they kind of leveled off when people.
Yeah, but in the end, it always comes down to, yes, they break through with their own style, but then they evolve, adapt. Luminosity is a great example of that. Talking, Fallen in interviews points it out as well. Yes, we started as this really strat-heavy team and so on, but now we are adapting, evolving, expanding our game. It's one of the reasons why they were able to win the major as well.
I mean, you keep drawing parallels between them and Luminosity. Something that they don't have is this pool of players. Like Fallen's got this kind of gamers academy, had all these Brazilian names that he was aware of. They don't have that in TyLoo. Their biggest rival, their second best Chinese team is CyberZen, and apparently those guys have a lot of friction. We wouldn't have that pool of players to build from.
Well, that's the bigger problem to me is they don't have a Fallen. Like, the key thing about it is Fallen's the guy with all the experience, knows how to play, and it seems like he's done some smart decisions. Now, supposedly, some of the players were brought in by other Luminosity players, but I'm sure he had to okay it, and he had to he had to read that guy. Does this guy know what he's talking about bringing this guy in? Unfortunately, they don't really have like the one figure like that. Like, the only person you could even compare is there's an old 1.6 player who's still in the scene. I think it's like a manager for CyberZen or something called Alex44, who used to be a great in-game leader, but I'm not sure how in-depth he's involved in the scene. Is he just there as a figurehead? And yeah, like you're saying, the problem is there are other players, like CyberZen has beaten TyLoo. They have Savage, who was one of the best 1.6 players from China. But if there's going to be that inter-regional rivalry that keeps them from joining each other, much like we've seen with some of the NA teams in the past.
And Australia.
That's going to stop you from rising up to the top where you could be, because at the moment, you want to get everyone onto the best team. You want to get each person who's the best each role and forget about petty differences and see how good you can be.
Yeah, I mean, he's exactly right there. So it will be interesting to how they move forward. But they have some of the cool things, like the really hard things to teach or to learn. That they have that the coach who's staying up at night watching all the VODs through the night. That's like the dirty work. That's the boring stuff that no one ever wants to do. And the fact that they're already doing it, that gives you a good platform to learn and build on. If you're a team that doesn't have that much experience, that much availability to get experience, the only way to do it is to watch demos and watch VODs of the professional teams. And if they have someone who's willing to study this, if they have players who are willing to watch those, that's going to help them in a region.
So basically, you just want them to get dirty. You're like, oh yeah, stay up all night.
Do the hard work.
Watch it all. You like to watch, don't you? Yeah.
And on that bombshell, it's time to look at the brackets. Just to remind you, this is just the first game of our quarterfinals. And there it is, Navi. A 2-0, TyLoo did fall, but they've definitely made an impact here in DreamHack Masters Malmö. Up next, you can see Dignitas Envy to determine Navi's opponent in the semis, and then we've got a whole lot more coming up, of course, with that El Clasico at the bottom, VP, NIP. Now, DreamHack Masters Malmö has already started with a bang. The arena was already making a whole lot of noise, and that is just, of course, game one of our 2 days in that arena. Now, we keep saying Malmö. We actually had an opportunity for Parla to go explore the city a bit more, and so you guys at home who don't have the opportunity to be in that crazy arena, to get your head around what Malmö has to offer. Well, we were, and we will a little later on. Instead,
just kidding, guys.
Yeah,
joke.
LOL, JK.
Stadium.
Yeah. JK. So what happened is we filmed that video at night. Completely forgot about it. It was a mistake. Yeah, that was the video.
Good save.
Parla's mic was off. I hope you enjoyed it. That was it. That was the tour of Malmö.
And that's why he gets paid the big bucks.
That's it, right. Whew, with that said and with that done, the scene is set for our next game. And I guess just before we do say our goodbyes, I'll let Duncan set the scene. Set the scene for Dig Envy. What do people have to look forward to between these two teams?
Well, I mean, this is actually a rematch of the Global Esports Cup game shows tournament that they had, I think it was in February, and in that tournament we had this great rivalry emerge between Dignitas and Envious, because in the group stage Dignitas actually smashed Envious 2-0 on two of Envious's best maps, but then the final was a best of 5 and it was the other way around. By that, Envious was ramped up, they were ready, and they came back on some of the same maps and destroyed Dignitas. So both of these teams is very heated, and most importantly, Dignitas is that rising team who've got the tactical style, and then you go to the polar opposite, which is you've got this Envious team with all these fantastic players slumping for so long, and they're trying to work their way out of a slump. Yeah. They did it against Tempo Storm, but there's no guarantee they'll do it here.
One of the biggest games for Dignitas, there's no doubt about it. They've got, I mean, they're so close to Denmark. I have no doubt there's friends, there's family, a lot of local support for the boys from Denmark, and they're going to, of course, be representing their country. No other Danes present in the quarterfinals. So we are going to go ahead and take a break. Dignitas versus Envy is up next. It's going to be brutal. And while we do disappear off to a break, a reminder of how to use the Score Esports from them themselves.